feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, good to see you. How are you? Great to be back after a day off yesterday, so I could go to a family event. Went out for lunch for a 60th birthday, and just went out and did that yesterday. Got caught in a crazy thunderstorm on the way home. It was a nice day, and then all of a sudden there was this giant thunderstorm that came over, and we got trapped in this just crazy torrential downpour. It was pretty bad. Hey, good to see everyone. Good to have you here tonight. We are gonna talk about what is going on with Gus. What is going on with this little boy? And I'm going to talk to you about this photo. So, if you've been on social media for the last, I don't know, the last little while, here, let me fix my thing here. If you've been on social media for the last little while, you may have seen this photo. This photo has been going around, and people are like, he's been saved. It's a miracle. There's a little boy, and look, it's Gus. It's right there. It's little, the kid that everyone's been looking for. No, this is AI generated flop. This is cruel people thinking that they are being funny, clever, clickbaiting, just being really horrible to anyone who knows that little boy. But I think it's time to talk about where else can we go from here with Gus, because he was last seen on the 27th of September. That is ages away now, ages away. I mean, how many weeks are we talking? Okay, my thing's not working, which is great. What is going on? Guys, give me a sec. We've got tech problem. Hold on. All right, I'm not sure what's going on, but computer is not working right. Can't get into my calendar. But 27th of September is a number of weeks ago now, at least almost 20 days ago. A child, this is not like a kidnapping situation. This is not like that little girl who went missing in WA. That little girl was actually kidnapped. Her parents were camping with her they were with her in a tent in the middle of the night, and then she went missing. Very different situation. Gus was playing alone. Sorry, what is going on? Hold on. All right, I'm not sure what's going on. We are lagging like crazy tonight, and I don't know quite why. We don't normally have this issue. I'm just going to go into my performance and see what is going on. I don't know. It says everything is fine. Yeah, let me check here. We're getting like terrible lag. Like anytime I try and do something, Okay, it's a bit better now. Not sure. But anyway, I'll get back to what I was saying. 20 days or just about of Gus Lamont being missing in the outback on a sheep station in Yunta. I'm like, the thing that gets me is how many of you out there think that if there was a missing child, how many of you think the police would just be like, "Yeah, we're done. We're going to go home now. The search is over. There's we can't find him. There's a little boy missing and we're just going to go home." I find that so strange that they would be willing to do that and just sort of give up on the idea of ever finding him. So the information I have is that the search and rescue is done. They're not even looking anymore. The case in its entirety has been transferred to the missing persons department of SA police. So there's not even like it's active, but they've just transferred it to missing persons. Um Strange. Neuro says deception detective thought someone else was involved. Well, I wonder if we have to move past the idea that this is some sort of misadventure. The strangest detail in all of it is that when they called a tracker onto the land, they couldn't find a trace of the child. Nothing. No footsteps, no drag marks, no personal belongings. He might have got rid of his shirt, his pants, a sock, anything he might have been wearing. They couldn't find any of that. They haven't found any sort of bodily fluids of any sort. A child has to pee and go to the toilet. If he was anywhere in that surrounding for originally about a week, you would think that they would be finding human excrement around, and they didn't find anything like that. So why would the cops just stop for one and just literally overnight, just like that, call it off? We're done. We're going home. We've searched as much as we can, and we're just going to go home. Um, it's concerning. I don't want to be one of these people that automatically go, it's the family. But where else do we have exactly else to look? I don't have anywhere else to go with it, except for you have to go back to the last people that saw him alive. It's the only direction you can go in. You have to go back and go, well, if they're the ones that are reporting this information, got to talk to them. They've got to be the ones who break this case open. So Amy says because they suspect foul play. It could be. I have seen searches called off like that before, where they've just come to a conclusion in their investigation and just gone, well, we're wasting our time out here because that's not the direction we're going to end up going in. I have seen that before. Danny says Lily and Jack are so concerned. Okay. I don't know if they are that concerned, but I mean, I can understand the sort of crossover between the two. So I ask you out there, a lot of the channels have been turning off their comments for this. A lot of the news channels in Australia, and as far as I'm concerned, no one has been charged with a crime yet, so there is no need to turn off the comments as of yet. If someone had been charged with a crime in relation to Gus, sure, to protect the trial and things like that, I could understand it. But no one's been charged with anything, so I don't understand the clamping down and turning off the comments for things. There's no need for that at the moment. Hey, Laurie, how are you? You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather Channel's pretty interesting. All right. So let me take you to some of the last things we heard about Gus, and I'll show you the last update if I can find it. If I can Is that the one we want? I think it's this one. Yeah. This was, I'm not going to play all of it, but just listen to what the cops have to say. This was the last press conference that they did. Yeah.
The search for Gus. So as we well know, Gus is a little 4-year-old, blonde, curly hair, smiling face young fellow who has been missing from a farm property about 43 kilometres south of the township of Yunta since last Saturday, the 27th of September. The last time Gus was seen by family was approximately 5 p.m. That night, and when a family member came out later in the evening, about half an hour later, to call him back inside, they couldn't find him. He's been described as an adventurous child, shy, but he is also a pretty good walker. But he's never left the family property with any distance previously that we're aware of. As everyone would know, considerable police resources and searches have been undertaken for the last 7 days, throwing absolutely everything we can in an effort to try and locate Gus safely and safe and well and alive. From early Sunday morning, all the resources that were involved in the search to that time were rapidly increased. Clearly everyone understands the urgency of a situation with a missing person, but particularly a 4-year-old child.
So you hear some of the details there, and another one you have to hear about. This is something that I heard about the property. They were saying that you have to drive through several gates to get to the actual home. It's not like you just drive in one sort of, farming fence and sort of drive up the driveway and you're there. They're like, there is several gates that you have to go through to get up to the main property. And if it is that sort of, secured in a way, and it is that remote, we're talking 50 kilometers south of Yunta. And even at that point, even if they were in the town, it is super remote. There's nothing out there. It's not like you're talking about a suburban house with a quarter-acre block, with neighbors either side and, streets running on either side of the property and a highway down the road. That's not what's going on. It's completely isolated. It is very, very isolated. And that makes it different from Little Cleo, that the one from WA. Little Cleo in WA, again, very different. While it was a more sort of remote part of WA, they were at a camping ground where there was other people around. There is a town nearby. There's a highway not too far from where they were camping. And now we know what happened. She was abducted out of the tent and then taken back to literally where the parents live. Same town where the parents lived. Not anymore. They don't live there anymore. But at the time they lived there. That was very, very different. You have a way of a stranger getting to that child. And even in that particular case, it seemed very, very odd. This child went missing from a very remote area. That was strange for that particular case. This one is even more remote. You're talking about a sheep farm. People can't get into it. I'm confused. There's a lot of people talking about stranger danger or a stranger abduction. You would have to tell me how a stranger could get onto that property in the very small amount of time that Gus was last seen by the family. How is that possible with no one seeing them, no one coming up the track, no one coming up, the long winding track to get up to the property? They weren't seen. There was no car seen going away from the property. They didn't find any, unusual tracks leading to or from the property. And the only people we have to take their word are the last people who saw Gus. And I'm not directly implicating them. I'm just telling you the facts. I'm not saying that you should automatically go get the pitchforks and start, making a militia to go after them, and just telling you exactly what's happening and how strange it seems that they cannot find him on this property. It is a little odd. Danny says, "What if the family are lying?" Well, we have to go back to the last people who saw him, which are them. Khaleesa said, "If he fell in a hole or between some rocks, it can happen." Now, there was a neighbor who owns property on the other side of Gus's property, and if I show you, he was saying that they do have disused mine shafts that run throughout the property, and I'll show you a photo of it here if I can get this up on the screen. Yeah. So the neighbor said scattered around his property are these type of old opal gold mining shafts that are not documented. They sort of just run through the property. And he says that he's lived on his property for a long period of time and he still doesn't know where all of them are. He says every week he goes out onto his property, he finds new ones that he has never seen before. So that could be another option. That could be. It's possible. I mean, a child could explore and think that's a fun place or a fun thing to do and fall in, or not know it is there and trip and fall down. I would still think if a child wandered away from the property while you were, he was playing out the front or something like that, I would have a feeling you would see them. Being that this is a flat landscape, we're not talking about somewhere that has a lot of hills and, mountains and valleys. It's pretty flat. That you would see a little kid running off and being like, "Oh my God, there he is. Let's go after him." But nothing like that. Nothing like that. Khaleesa said we had those old mine shafts on our property growing up and also sinkholes. Let's see. Hey, Betsy. Betsy says, I honestly feel like a 4-year-old isn't going to get lost in that situation because he probably is used to the area. I realize he's only 4, but he was familiar with the area. Yes, and the police said it's not like him to move very far from the home. Being a kid that grows up in the country, he probably knows that it's not a good idea to move very far away from from safety because of all the, animals and snakes and things like that that happen out there. Let's see. He would fit under gates, but their driveway is so long. I mean, he possibly could walk it, but I would say that someone would have picked him up. Like they would see him trying to get to the end of the property. It's not that short. Let me see if I can find the description for you. Apparently it's not easy to get to the main home. Let me see. Yeah. Actually, there's a good photo to show you. So this is from the Daily Mail, and there's one view over the property. So these tracks lead in different directions. One of them leads to a gate that goes onto a road, and this is sort of how flat it is out there. I don't know, if you hopped on a quad bike or a truck or something and you noticed he was missing and then took off to go search for him, I have a feeling that the truck would be faster than a 4-year-old and that you would be able to catch up with him wherever he wandered off to. That's Ping's opinion that being so flat and sort of isolated, if he had gone past the normal point of where he plays on the property, that you would probably be able to catch up with him. He's only 4. It's pretty far away. It's like kilometers. It's not close. Looks very desolate. It is. It is very desolate. Yeah, that is true. All right, let me see if we can find the map. Give me 1 second. All right, let me see if I can find it. So it's near Oak Park. I don't know if Ping can find it. I don't know if there's any full directions to find the farm. But I would guess that there's not too many. Oh, Oak Park Station. Is that it? Oh, it's right here. Good work, Ping. All right, here we go. So here is the Oak Park Station. This is their home. As you can see, it looks very much like the photo I just showed you. And here's the tracks. So let's follow them out. So here is Oak Park Road. This is the one that goes all the way up. And if we keep following it, it'll lead up. I'm pretty sure it leads up to Yunta, if I'm correct. If it's this one, let's see. Oak Park Roadhouse. Yeah, eventually it leads Tiverton out here. Let's see if it leads. Where does it go to? Oh, we can't see. But it is the road. So let's go down here. That's Oak Park Road. Let's go back to where we came from. There's the dam. There's the station. There's another property down here. So this is the property here. And it looks like there is is that a well? Some sort of maybe water source right here. So this gives you sort of the view of what it looks like and the search parameters of it. So if the child made it to Oak Park Road, he would have to make it from here down this driveway route through here and then onto the road, I'm guessing. So onto this road. That would be the closest sort of stranger danger third party location. I don't know if someone would drive up this road all the way up here to wherever he was playing and snatch him without anyone noticing a foreign car come onto the property, have them grab the child and then take off down the track again and get out of here onto the road. I mean, you can't rule out anything in life, but I would think that that would be a pretty risky thing to do. I'm just trying to go up here. I'm trying to find the other road. There should be a second road. Yeah, there, up there, the A32. So this is the big road up here. This is the Barrier Highway. It's pretty far away from their homestead. That's the one I was looking for. That is the one I was hoping to find. Wait, hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me switch you to this one, and then let me go back. Yep. All right, there we go. So that gives you a better view than the photo of sort of what it looks like out there. But if I zoom out just a little bit for you, there you go. That's sort of like the they called it like a 20K search area surrounding the property, maybe. There you go. So they would search in a circular search pattern around here. And there's some water down here that I'm pretty sure they had divers check out these water sources. So nothing in there according to the cops. And then what's out here? Nothing. Some small vegetation, a lot of sand, a lot of dirt, and not much else. Not much else out here. Very little. I don't know. If you ask Ping, I just think that you would have seen a child or a foreign car or something out at this sheep station. Rachel said, a stranger taking him seems very unlikely. I just think people who live on these properties, they would look out for any sort of people trespassing, coming onto their property. They would keep an eye out for vehicles that are coming, because they're quite, isolated. If you had a car coming up, your long driveway, you'd wonder what they're doing and why they're there. So I would think you would notice. Nana Lana said the family is either not giving out details or the police is not giving out information. That is true. Khaleesa said maybe it's more expected to let their kids play alone on the property. I don't think that's a problem. I think most country kids probably do that. Danny said risky, but 4-year-old I don't think would wander too far unless he didn't want to be where he was. True. Amy says, I believe he's on the property alive or deceased. That is a possibility. Rachel said, do we actually know how long it was between the time he was last seen and when they started searching? I think the time frame is something like 5 o'clock, and then it's 3 hours before they called authorities. Let me just double check that. Gus Lamont. Yeah, here. Gus was last seen outside by his grandmother around 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 27th of September 2025, playing on a mound of dirt. At 5:30, she went outside to call him in, only to find him missing. The family searched for 3 hours before calling authorities. So, about 8:30 in the evening is when they called authorities to report that they couldn't find him. Let me see here. So multiple footprints were found on the property, but however, none of them were determined to be anything connected to Gus or his disappearance. The police search leveraged the SES, drones, helicopters that used infrared technology to try and track down Gus, Aboriginal trackers, and they also included 48 members of the ADF, which is the Australian Defence Force, as well as trail bikes, ATVs, and a large number of community and family members. The South Australian Police the South Australian Police described it as one of their largest and most intensive and most protracted searches ever undertaken. Once the search was scaled back, the case was transferred to the Missing Persons Investigation Section of SA Police. So there you go. All those people, helicopters with infrared. I mean, if there was a body out here, you would think with that helicopter with the IR on it, they didn't pick anything up. They didn't find anything. Bit strange. Hey, John. John Taylor, good to see you, John. John says, I believe they were watching the grand final when he went missing. I hope their team lost. Maybe they did lose. Maybe. Wendy R says, poor little fellow. I agree. A 4-year-old just not disappeared, according to everyone. Just gone in a puff of smoke. Khaleesa said, my 4-year-old nephew was playing outside in the backyard. Mum noticed she didn't hear from him. We found he had climbed a 6-foot fence and was across the road playing with a neighbor's dog. Could have been worse. Maybe he made it. Maybe he made it to the road. It is a possibility. Carolina said, in that vast wilderness, I don't think he will ever be found. Police believe he's not alive. They believe that if he was out here, that after a week there was no hope of him being alive. That either the elements or dehydration or no food, animal, something would have caused him to unfortunately die. But yeah, I'll zoom this out so you get a better look. There's their station. There's Oak Park Road, and yeah, there you go. We keep going south. What is down here? Not a lot. There's not much between there. There's a dam, another dam. I don't think he could have made it to here. It is pretty far away. There's another dam. They like their water out here. A lot of dams. But yeah, nothing out here. Look, we keep going for kilometers. There's just Nothing out here. Here's another homestead over here. Another person's property down this way. That's probably one of the probably not the closest, but it's probably one of their neighbors. And then what do we get? We get a different road system here. And if we keep going south, or this is west, you'll eventually reach the Barrier Highway. This is the big one. This is the one that goes north and south. So it will take you all the way north to Yunta, or it'll go all the way south into the city, basically, out here. Take you into Adelaide and different parts of more populated areas. So you can kind of see how far away they are. Everything's around here: Port Augusta, Whyalla, Port Pirie, all the way through here. There's a lot more people and things like that. So let's go down, go back down to the station here. But yeah, other than this big block here, if you do like a rectangle across this middle bit, outside of that, there's not much. It's just land. Look, if we go north a little bit from the home, if we have a bit of a look, it's just the same for miles. Yeah, even if you walk north and somehow made it up onto the road in this direction, yeah, I will leave it to you guys to come up with theories, but that should give you a better inside look into the area and what the possibilities might be. Kim says, I don't understand why they aren't trying to recover him. I think the police believe they have searched as much of that area as they can and haven't located anything. So continuing the search would be a waste of money, basically a waste of funding. Danny said, I don't know if they have any animals. I would guess they do. I Hate Morning says, I was 3.5 when my friend who was a month older than I went collecting soda bottles to return for candy. We made it almost 2 miles, bought our candy. Our punishment was to walk home plus be grounded. That is a long way to go for candy. Let's see. Rachel says, yeah, Jack and Lily, very different, I think. Wendy said, you always hear someone coming in a vehicle when you live out in the country. Notice it for miles. There you go. Yeah, I think it's fine to let kids play out there. I don't see any problems with that. Anna says, when was the last time a third party saw Gus alive? He may have disappeared earlier than stated. That we've done a lot of child missing cases on this channel, and one of the things I always stress to people is you can never believe what the closest people to the missing person have to say, ever. You have to get your sort of information from people who are not involved. So, like Anna says, when is the last time someone has spoken to the child, seen the child, done anything with the kid other than the family? That is your starting point. The starting point is not 5:30 on the 27th of September. It can't be. You would be running a very bad investigation if you did that. You have to go back to the time that someone doesn't have any skin in the game here. You have to go back to when they saw the kid. So I agree with you 100%. And we haven't heard a lot about that at all. We haven't heard very much about any outsiders seeing him at all. Let me see. All right. Let me see if I can play you one of the last. So there was one little video that was put out, and it was a while ago now. Yeah, I'm going to play this to you. This is from 7 News, and they had this. It's only about a minute long.
A man who joined the search for Gus Lamont alongside the little boy's devastated father says he's certain the 4-year-old isn't on the property and has ruled out bizarre conspiracy theories. It's now been 9 days since Gus disappeared without a trace in the state's outback.
Local Jason O'Connell knows the land out here like the back of his hand.
I just don't get how he vanished like that.
When the alarm was raised about a little boy lost on a property near Yunta, he was given police approval to help search. Day and night, he walked the expansive property looking for little Gus, the youngster's devastated dad by his side.
My heart breaks for him. You know, all dads love their boys, you know, all the kids. So, you know, it's just hard.
Jason's got 20 years experience in the SES and skills in tracking. Never has he found absolutely no trace like this.
It's been searched. He's not there.
And he believes the conspiracy theories are just that.
It's not going to happen. A wedge-tail will pick up a kilo or two. You know, they're not going to pick up a 4-year-old. There's no pigs, there's no wild dogs, there's no foxes.
But if he's not somewhere out here on the property, where is Gus? Every piece of information in relation to this very high-profile missing persons case will now be examined and re-examined by police.
You know, I would take it from the guy who actually went out there and searched for the child. If he's coming on national TV and telling everyone that, in his opinion, from searching on the property and searching for Gus, that he is not there, then I would lend a lot of credence to what he has to say. I mean, I don't think he's going around telling porcupines just for fun. And if he's saying he's not there, I would believe him. So where is he? If he's not in this property, where could he be? I mean, I think if we go down that road and we're going to say there's people involved in why he's not being able to be found, then they're the ones who know, obviously, where he is. And that's what we have to, that's what the police are going to have to find out. Drew, hey, Drew. Yes, they checked all the water tanks. So dive teams came in. They checked all water sources. So any kind of water storage or a dam, any of those giant circular plastic things that they store water in, they've all been checked. So if the kid found his way into that and died or something, they would know. They would have found him. I don't know. I don't know that. Grandparents? Well, could be. There is, I don't know how to approach this subject, but there is grandparents. I'll show you the article that was put out by the Daily Mail. I don't often, well, I'll just show it to you. If it'll load. Yeah, here we go. So this is sort of the story about the grandmother. The grandmother is a trans person, and it says here, patriarch scarred by horrors of war and 2 very unusual marriages, and they say, we reveal the deeply complicated world of Gus Lamont's Outback family. And there's something going on here where the grandmother, named Josie Murray, doesn't get along with Gus's father. So Gus's dad doesn't get along with grandma. And there's some sort of friction here between them. So they apparently are not on good terms, according to the reporting. Yeah, so that is Josie Murray, and that is the grandparent. There's a photo of her there, and apparently she has said that yeah, she said a few things here. I think she said that she'll never stop looking for Gus on the property, and yeah. let me see if I can show you anything else about it. There's the entrance to the property. Actually, I'll put that up. You guys might like to see what it's like. There you go. There's one of the entrances to that property. What else do we have about? I don't want to go that deep into it. Okay. Yeah, this is Gus's father. So for people who don't know the different people in the story or case here, his name is Joshua. So his name is Josh Lamont, and he's Gus's dad. And he lives a 2-hour drive from Oak Park at a ramshackle farmhouse in Belaley North near Jamestown. And they say here that apparently Joshua and Jess, that is Gus's mother, remain a couple but have a commuter relationship because he clashes with Josie. So, yeah, grandmother does not get along with Gus's father, Josh. Family or familial problems. So, hey, SP Mama, how are you? You're doing chores. Okay. Carolina says, well, because of arguments in the family, I'd maybe be hopeful someone is hiding him. Could be, could do. I don't know if they've checked many of those, but I'm guessing any of them they came across when they did the land search, they would have looked at. Because, I mean, of course, they'd want to know if he was down there. So, not good circumstances. Something odd going on for sure. I don't have too much more about the grandmother. That's just what's being reported. I don't know what more to add to it except for that's just the facts of it. Yeah. Let me see. So yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it there. 10th October. Yep. So this is one of the only other articles that have come out recently too. They say the mystery of the disappearance of a 4-year-old in the South Australian outback has deepened after it was claimed that the boy's father moved out of the family home following a clash with the child's transgender grandparent. So yeah, definitely some infighting in the family. I don't know what that has to do with Gus going missing, but anytime you have families who are not getting along, it's concerning. You never know what happens in family fights and disagreements and not being on the same page, especially when you have young children around. And they say, anything else here? I don't think we know too much more. Yeah. So Josie told the Daily Mail, while declining offers of assistance in the search effort for Gus, she said, we're still looking for him. You can't help. We are still dealing with this. Why would you not want people to help find the child? I find that you don't want people to come and help. You don't need manpower or woman power. Now that the cops have called off the search effort, do you not want people coming in trying to help the family? I find that odd. You don't want like nice community members to come and try and look for the child. You're going to do it all yourself, are you? You're going to search hundreds of kilometers all by yourself. Okay. I I mean, sure, that's your choice. Um, and they say locals have now urged even well-meaning volunteers to stay away from the remote station as the grieving family grapples with their loss and contends with wild theories online. Someone said, "I know this family very well, and they don't want people turning up and having to deal with that. Even if the people are well-meaning and sympathetic, they just want peace and quiet and to try and work out for themselves what's actually happened." Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So apparently they don't want people coming to help. Yeah, so that's all I can tell you. And that is where we're at with it, really. Child is missing, 20 days almost. No one has any clue. Search has been called off. There's been no sign of him, no sightings of the child. There's no evidence that he was ever on the property, really. They didn't find anything, no clothing, no sort of human excrement or something like that to give an indication that there's a child wandering around. You know, he's been missing for days and days and days. You would think that a child still needs to go to the bathroom, and that's something I know, as gross as that sounds, searchers would have been looking for that because it would give them an idea that they've found some sort of proof of life or some indication that he's around. So, yeah, I know the kid is missing. Exactly. John said the red flags are starting to fly high. There is definitely something odd going on. I agree. Wendy R said, seems a bit touchy about people wanting to help search. I find it strange that because the cops called off the search, that they don't want to search anymore, or that they only want to do it by themselves. I would have thought that you would be, in some other cases where children have gone missing, even when authorities have called off the search, they have organized groups and, hey, meet here on Sunday at 9 o'clock and we'll all go out and we'll keep searching for the little boy. And, if the cops won't help us, and we'll keep doing it. But we're not seeing anything like that. All we're being told is stay away from the property. Carolina said the article said single footprint. Well, they're now saying that the footprint has nothing to do with Gus at all. That they don't think it is him or has anything to do with him. What? All right, I'm so confused about the email Sean just sent me. Danny says, I find it odd that the dude who searched, yeah, that guy is willing to say the child is not there. Drew said, have they released the 000 call? No, I don't think so. Yeah, let me see. I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen a 000 call. I don't think it has been released by. It's not like America, though. In America, as soon as something happens, a 000 call or a 911 call is made available. Often in Australia, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It depends. But I don't think I've seen one here for this particular one. Hold on. So, news.com had an article the other day, I'll show it to you, about Gus. Experts say the same thing about missing Gus Lamont case. Somebody else is involved. So, you got experts.
What would you do differently from a policing
Hey,
perspective?
shush. They say criminal experts believe a third party is involved with the disappearance of Gus Lamont after police were forced to scale back the search this week for the missing 4-year-old in remote South Australia. Yep. I agree. I think that it has to be a third party of some sort. So yes, I agree. So this criminal expert says the scale of the search and how detailed it was, and the drones and everything else, it does feel at this stage, sadly, that if they haven't found something, that it's likely to be third-party involvement. Sounds pretty logical. And they said, given the remote nature of the area near Oak Park Station, the lack of evidence found in the search also points to a third party. And yeah, they said here, if he were wandering or had fallen, then the technology and the search strategies they've applied should have located him. The fact that they've scaled back means they feel they have searched well enough to do that. So it does feel sadly like there's probably somebody else involved. There you go. That was from a criminal expert that talked to news.com.au, and even they think there's something off here. Wendy R said the native tracker have any comments? They did. They said they don't understand why people aren't searching, and they were a bit mad that the search had been scaled back. So that was their comments about it. Warner still said, if Dad had a falling out with Grandma and he left, could he have taken Gus off with him? Does Dad have custody of Gus? I would think that it's Mum that has the custody of Gus. I think because Gus lived with Mum and Grandma, I think it would be them that would probably have the custody of him, not Dad. But yeah, nothing about that anyway. Nothing I've heard myself. All right, let me see. I am getting the weirdest. I'm getting the weirdest searches. Hold on. Here, give me. All right, here we go. So they've even had drones up in the air. And as far as I know, they recorded everything to go and review it. So often when they can't find a child, a person, and they're flying over they have these helicopters or drones, anything like that, they'll often record and have a video recording so that they can have someone go back and watch the video and see if they missed anything. So that's what they're talking about here on this video with Channel 9.
Well, this morning, South Australian police are hoping new drone footage could hold clues in the disappearance of 4-year-old Gus Lamont. To break it all down, Gary Jubilant, the former lead detective in the William Tyrrell investigation, joins us in the studio. Gary, good morning to you. This case is so disturbing. I'm sure you've been disturbed by it, as everyone around the country has. There's no trace of Gus at this point. How does a 4-year-old just disappear?
Well, they are very rare cases such as this. Children disappearing at that age is a rare event. What police would be looking for is, has the disappearance been a result of wandering off, misadventure and getting lost? Or is there some form of intervention involved in his disappearance? It's now been over 10 days. It's a remote location. It looks, from all intents and purposes, an extremely thorough search, and they've found no clues at this stage.
So what would police be doing behind the scenes now? I mean, again, no one knows this better than you. What would police be doing?
Well, I'm heartened by the fact in the last media release by a Deputy Commissioner in South Australia Police, they said they're running other lines of inquiries concurrently with the search for the missing person.
What does that mean?
They're looking at all options. So whether it's, what they've got to establish is, has Gus disappeared through misadventure, or is there some form of intervention? Now that...
Yeah, other lines of inquiry. Strange. Sean said, what the hell is going on with YouTube? I had no live stream, but I could chat. You may have had to refresh. Sometimes it does that where you have to refresh the page. Let me take you... So yeah, everyone is saying third party or some sort of intervention, some sort of reason why Gus can't be found. And they were talking about this statement made by the Assistant Commissioner Ian Parrott, and this is the statement right here. And let me find the bit that we want to talk about. Yeah, in addition to the search activity, there have been concurrent inquiries undertaken. As a matter of course, when a 4-year-old child goes missing, these inquiries are continuing. We are investigating and looking to rule out every option at this stage, which is very interesting because before that, they were very much like, we're just looking for the child and he's somewhere on this property, so we've got to find them. Well, now their sort of language has changed after they spent days and days and, 40, 50 people on the property searching for this child that apparently wandered off. And now they're saying, well, we're going to look at other things and other theories and take other, lines of inquiry. Here, I'll play you a little bit here, but let me turn that down a little bit for you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, I'd just like to talk to you about two. So, as we well know, Gus is a little 4-year-old, blonde, curly hair, smiling face. The best theory at the moment is exactly that. The evidence that we have available to us is that Gus has wandered away from the property and somewhere onto the farm property, and we have not been able to locate him. I'm aware that there's a lot of speculation on social media and various theories that quite a number of people are espousing on social media. Can I just remind people that it is not helpful, it is not appropriate to speculate in these circumstances. If you were to put yourselves in the shoes of a family who would be clearly distraught about the loss of a small child, someone who's gone missing, it paints a little bit of a different picture and a perspective for people to take into account. And we understand that there are going to be keyboard detectives out there who have these various theories. Everything we know at this point in time is that Gus has wandered away from the property and we have not been able to find him.
I say to that, it's because you don't know anything else. Because the only information you have comes from one person. And when you have information that only comes from one person and you only have one set of timeline to go off, of course you can say in front of the media, well, everything we know up until this point is that Gus, walked away from the family home. He's not a 32-year-old woman walking away from her marriage. It's a 4-year-old child. It's a little bit different. But, I appreciate his comments.
Stimulation from the public, is that in any way tied up to police resources from a media perspective?
So what happens when we release information to the public, and particularly when you have such an angelic face such as Gus go out into the media, people will ring in. People want to genuinely help. They want to provide information that they think might help police and searchers locate a child. But there are also quite a number of people who are less than helpful and offer their opinions regardless of what the facts say. And in those circumstances, they are not only unhelpful, they are hurtful, and they do tie up police resources because people will ring into either Crime Stoppers or into the police contact numbers. We take every call seriously. And we'll also pass the relevant information onto the investigators who will continue to be looking at Gus being missing from the property.
A fairly obvious question, but how is the family coping with the development today that the search is going to be scaled back?
You're right, it's an obvious question. Any family that loses a family member is traumatised by the loss of that family member. Life's not supposed to work where a parent loses a child. It's supposed to work the other way around. So I think it becomes incredibly traumatic and upsetting for families who lose children, and particularly in circumstances where you don't necessarily know the answers. So yes, the family are really upset by this, as you'd expect, and the public generally are also upset with the fact that a 4-year-old is out there somewhere by themselves.
How difficult is it also for those police SES officers searching on foot when there simply hasn't been, aside from the footprint, any tracks at all?
As I said before, our search personnel, whether they be volunteers or whether they're police or Defence Force personnel, have families. So you can imagine that it would be easy for people to be demoralised by the fact that they can't find Gus in this circumstance. But despite that, I know that there's been an unwavering commitment by everybody involved in this search, And I would again like to thank everyone who's been involved for the immense effort that has taken place to try and find Gus and bring him back to his family.
This may have been covered previously, but is Gus an only child? Does he have siblings?
Look, I'm not prepared to talk about the rest of the family at this particular point in time, particularly given the trauma that they're going through at this stage.
I know you use the language scale back, but has the search on the property ended?
We are scaling back the search on the property today. So the Defence Force personnel who've been assisting again this morning will be stood down shortly. And so from a foot search perspective and the intensive search we've been doing so far, it is being scaled back this afternoon.
You know, the sort of weasel words there. The journalist asked, "Are you stopping the search?" And he just kept going back to scaled back, even though it basically sounded like, yeah, we're gonna send everyone home. Why not just say that? Why do you have to keep using the word scaled back? Just say, yeah, we don't have any reason to continue right now. And if new information presents itself to be that these resources should be put back into action, that we will do that. Rachel said, Ping, would there be a volunteer organizations out there to help search after the police search has stopped? Yes, there would be. Yes, there are certain volunteer organizations, not exactly like the ones in America, but different. Probably smaller than, say, EquiSearch or things like that. But there are volunteer-led groups that will come in and help and do searching for people and stuff like that.
I know you said it earlier, the best theory at the moment is that he's wandered off. We know major crime detectives were there earlier in the week. Do you still firmly believe there's no suspicious circumstances here?
Yeah, absolutely. We believe that with the evidence available to us at the moment that Gus has wandered off from the property, as I said. Yes, we have had major crime detectives involved in this search and helping local investigators and also search authorities. I think everyone in the public would expect that we would have major crime detectives involved in this, as some of the most experienced detectives that we have within our organisation. And they have been actively assisting our local investigators as well as the searchers to make sure that we can actually cover off on every single element that may be an option in these circumstances. As I've said before, everything at the moment points to Gus has wandered off from the property.
I assume the community up there would be, quite closely considering there's, so few of them up there. Do you expect them to continue to rally around this family?
Country people are amazing when it comes to looking after each other. That's one of the great things about living and working in regional areas, is that the country people really rally around each other and support each other. And yes, this is what we've been experiencing with this search. The willingness for people to help has been amazing. It's always amazing. So yes, that community spirit, that regional spirit has really shone through this particular process. And as has the outpouring of sympathy and acknowledgement from the broader community of South Australia.
Sorry, are you going to speak about Gus again? Because I was going to ask a few questions about them. That's all right.
He has about them.
Yeah. I was just wondering, you mentioned earlier that you believed he would be evading police. I was just wondering why that was.
After speaking with the family, we understand that Ben does have some mental health conditions. And so certainly when we piece that together with what we know about the other information we've received, as well as the fact that he didn't stop for police when first indicated to pull over, he clearly didn't want to be found, and we understand that his mental health may have played a part in that.
Is he from Western Australia? I know he has Western Australian number plates.
So is correct. So Ben is from Western Australia. Our understanding was that his intention was actually to drive to Victoria for the AFL Grand Final, but clearly at some point in time he's changed his mind and started to head north on the Stuart Highway.
That last question was about something else. Emily, hey my friend. I sure hope he's found, not another cold case. The cops talking about here about people online like us, I guess, are talking about theories and how speculating online is very unhelpful. I think the public is jaded by cases that have already happened in the past. And while you can't directly put everything you've seen in the past onto a new missing person case, people understand what the what happens in these cases. They understand that if this doesn't happen, it's probably this, and they've been around the block enough to know where these investigations head if you don't get certain results. I think a lot of people have seen enough missing children or other types of missing people cases, and they are probably aware of the statistic that is most of the time when a child is hurt or goes missing, unfortunately, it bears it out in those that it's someone close to the child. That's not speculation. That is literally the cold hard facts of it. And stranger abductions of children or uh, stranger killings of children are spectacularly rare. They're just super rare. Doesn't mean they don't happen. They're just very rare. So I find it a bit rich coming from SA police to say, whoa, people online, stop talking about this giant news coverage. Stop it. Don't be doing that. Media is allowed to talk about it. They're allowed to come to our press conference. They can ask questions of me. But, the people of the community, how dare you? How dare you go online and use the platforms that you have available to you to ask questions, to talk about it, to wonder why no one has found Gus? I think that is pretty hypocritical and lacks insight from the SA police. Mimi says they make us speculate even more by not saying much or not answering questions. I agree. Marilyn says no cameras on the property or neighbors. I would suspect there probably would be cameras out there. So I don't know why they don't have anything to show for Gus. Lingen said, I goofed up. I accidentally unsubscribed. Okay. No worries. I appreciate it. Thanks for being honest. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Emily Knob says, yeah, right. How dare us care? Yeah, I know, I agree. There's a thing called free speech. That is true. Woman of Steel said, one of the earlier reports talked about how far the house was from the road. Do you remember how far that was? I think we showed it like a minute ago. Yeah, we showed it on the map. So here's the Oak Park Station. This is the home right here. This is the home that you would have seen some photos of. You can see the different, this is the main property here. You can see the different outbuildings here and here, all around here. So if we zoom out, there's a road that leads down to the dams down this part of the property, or a track really. And then there's this road that has two ways. You can come through here and you can either go north and go up to Oak Park Road and hit the road here, or you can come through here, go left, and then hit Oak Park Road up here. So there's two ways of doing it, and then there's a another track that goes very far north. Where it leads to, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to see. There's another kind of track that goes very far north. There you go. So you can, head down. There's another, I don't know if this is a neighbor or it's their property too. I'm not 100% sure, but there's another property not too far down the road. There you go. You can see there's Oak Park Station, and then there's another house or property a little bit further down the road from them. It might actually be their property because it's really close to their dams. Their dams are right here, and there's another property right here. So could be related. I don't know. And then there's another one here, but I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Isn't that the weirdest looking? Isn't that the weirdest looking satellite image? It almost looks like it looks like plastic or something. It's weird. I don't know what that is. Isn't that trippy? Or it looks like it's been blurred on purpose. Maybe they've gone to Google and asked for it to be blurred out. Yeah, it almost looks like it's got a blur on it, like a cover. Strange. I don't know what that is or why it looks like that. A greenhouse, maybe? Don't know. But there you go. You can see the distance from the the station to the road. There you go. That's all right. You can see it again. A grow house, maybe. They said something about gates he couldn't open. Well, he's 4. I don't know if he could open any gates, but I heard there was a couple of sets of gates. Let's have a look. I don't know if you just can't see them on the map or... Looks like there's definitely something here. I don't know if there's any more, but definitely looks like there's one there. I don't know if there's one at the top of the property, though. There could be. But yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, I hope your dog is okay. Yeah, you look after him. Sean said 5 gates to pass by the property, I heard. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's 5. Maybe on this one up here? I don't know. Sometimes they don't show up on the satellite photo. You can't see them properly. I don't know. I don't see too many on the satellite photo. It looks like there might be one there too. There's one there. So maybe a couple. Oh, there might be. Is that another one? There's something here too, but I don't know what it is. The definition of the photos is not good enough. So there we go. All right. Lynn Jen said, I forgot to check how is Mrs. Ping. She is doing okay. She is doing okay. Drive by the property, not on it. Oh, drive by the property. Drive by the property. 5. Well, there probably is. I don't know if I can see them, but let's have a look. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. There's one there. There's one right there. There was one further north. Let's keep going. Yeah, it looks like there's a few. At least 3 that we've seen already. I don't know if there's any more, but could be one there too. There's a bunch of them. There's a whole heap of them. So there we go. Again, I think you would notice a vehicle coming up on here. That's just my opinion. All right. Hold on a sec. All right. So when we were out yesterday, we didn't find the ones that Mrs. Ping wanted, but we found the Butterfinger little tiny ones. These ones. These are little tiny ones. These unwrapped minis. So while we have a break for a second, I know everyone wants to know. Oh, they're so they're They're like these little tiny ones, Yeah, little bite-sized ones. Oh, geez, they're hard. Here, you want to try it? Mrs. Ping's gonna try it. Yeah, maybe cut it. Yeah. Hmm. Chocolate's nice. Yeah, so we found some. I'm gonna try it for you guys because everyone keeps going, you gotta try the American. Is it really hard? Yeah, give me like a really okay. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, like half that. So you yeah, I didn't realize. I thought they were soft. Everyone's like, they got peanut butter in it. Yeah, Sean, they could use something like geofencing to find out what, if anything, passed by the area at the time. All right, let's try it. I'm gonna try. It's not an ASMR channel, so I don't want to eat into the I don't want to eat into the microphone. Hold on. All right. They're sort of like everyone's like they're like a Fifth Avenue type chocolate, sort of like a Fifth Avenue. Chimong said if you like it, you got to say no. Nobody better lay a finger on my butterfinger. Actually, I mean I don't mind them. I think Mrs. Ping likes them more than I do. Do you like them? Yeah, she likes them. It's not really my thing. Um, yeah, they're not really Ping's thing. Um, I like Three Musketeers. I like that better. Ah, okay. Woman of Steel. The reason I didn't email you back is because someone else had emailed showing me the same thing. Not saying they would get it for me, just showing me that they had this thing in America. And we looked on Amazon to see if we could get it, and they won't ship it here. So even though your offer was very lovely, they they won't ship it here. We already looked into it, unfortunately, and yeah, you know what's? I'll show you something if I can get the. No, that's not it. If I can get it on the how do we do that? Mm-hmm. Um. All right. So this is what Warner Steel found, and it has that marshmallow one for Mrs. Ping. The thing we found out is, um, even on Amazon, even if we did it as like a wish list type thing, they just won't ship it. It won't ship to Australia, and they won't allow it to ship outside of the USA. Um, but what I was going to say is, I just told you that actually that's the first time I've ever tried a Butterfinger, but it's not for me. But she likes them. But Ping's favorite chocolate is actually Crunch. So Crunch is actually like my favorite chocolate in the world, and I used to eat them as a kid because my dad would bring them back on a Friday night. He'd always get one at the train station, and he would get one of these the flat ones, the real thin ones. He would always bring one home, and it would be covered in like that wax paper with the cover on it. And I used to eat them when I was a child, and I didn't know they made a white one. So it was a lovely offer, but unfortunately, they just won't ship it here. Oh, oh, okay. If you want to, I would appreciate it. Kelly J says, I used to love the Crunch too. Yeah, Crunch is like my favorite. That's very kind of you. If you could find one, I'm happy to give you the money for it. It's not a yeah, if you could find one. Milky Ways and Kit Kat are good. Your Milky Way is different from our Milky Way though. Our Milky Ways are not your Milky Ways. A Milky Way in Australia is like a Three Musketeer. So I'll show you. Your Milky Ways are different. Here. This is an Australian or UK Milky Way. And it looks exactly like a Three Musketeer bar, although smaller. So, yeah, that's why I said I like Three Musketeer bars because they're very much like a Milky Way. Warner still said PO Box. No, it's a gift. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you, my friend. Emily Narb says, makes me want to buy my own trick or treat bag. You know, it's crazy. I was looking on Amazon and the things that you guys have are insane. Like, we just don't get stuff like that here. I'll show you one here. What would you call it? So in America, they have these crazy like this type of thing, and yeah, like these things. You have to actually put it on the screen, Ping. Like this type of thing. Like you have these, and you got like Twizzlers and Jolly Ranchers. What was the other thing? Like these ones that look like a witch and stuff. These ones, like these, and it's got like Three Musketeers, Milky Way, Snickers, and Twix. They just don't do things like this in Australia, like at all. Actually, Mrs. Ping, do we have the other ones? The Jolly Ranchers? So we found these in the city yesterday, the Butterfingers, but we found Three Musketeer, not Three Musketeer. We found Jolly Ranchers too. We found these really cool Jolly Ranchers. So we found these. We found these ones. These are Jolly Rancher gummies, and Jolly Ranchers are like Ping's favorite candy in the world. One of my favorite candies. That and sweet tarts and Jolly Ranchers, and they're these tiny little gummies. These tiny little gummies. They're so cute, and they actually taste like Jolly Ranchers. So if you've not seen those, they're pretty cool. All right, enough food. You guys get me onto food every day. Every day, you guys get me on talking about foods. I think like every day, every single day. Laurie says Twix is the only candy I do not like. Interesting. Yeah, they don't do these type of things in Australia. Emily Narb said that bag is $10 to $15. Oh, really? That's actually not bad for 70 minis in it. Chipmunk says I like Airheads and Warheads. Kelly J says I can't stand Snickers. Okay. I started it. Oh, I think it was you guys. I don't think it was me. I blame you guys. I reckon 100% it was something you guys did. But yeah, like they just have so many. I didn't even know this was a thing. Like they have one that looks like this and has Reese's and Rolo and Hershey's and Milk Duds and what is that? A Whoopie? What is it? Whoppers or Whoppers or something? I don't know what that is. But yeah, I find it so interesting. Like, who makes these? This one's got Skittles and Starburst, and I find that so interesting that it's such a big thing in America. I will, my friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Kelly says it's interesting the differences between the States and Australian candy. It is a little bit different. Emily Narb said at Easter, it's also the same but with bunnies. Do they do it at Christmas as well? You guys will have to tell me. Carolina says Whimpers are melted milk balls. We have that, but they call them Maltesers. Yeah. We'll get back onto true crime in a minute. It's nice to take a break for 2 seconds while we do something different. I don't know if you guys have these in America. Maybe. So are they like this? So we have these. We call these Maltesers, and they're a milk bowl with a malt milk bowl with chocolate on the outside. Woman of Steel said Whoppers are nasty. Okay. Kelly J said they have mixed bags of candy like that all year round, but more for Halloween. Oh, interesting. Yeah, anyway. Woman of Steel sent me the first one we looked at, and someone else did too. They were like, "Hey, look, Ping, they sell this one that has uh the one that you wanted in it." They're like, "Hey, look at this." Okay, interesting. I wonder. Yeah, I wish they did things like this in Australia for Halloween, and they just don't. Halloween's just not a thing here, really. Like it is, but and it's better than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, they didn't do anything at all. And it is getting better. Yeah, I'll show you. Halloween. So they have sort of started doing this type of thing in Australia, and I'll show you a thing of it. So at Halloween, they have started to do this type of thing. So caramello koala and the koala on the inside in the packet in the little thing, it glows in the dark and it's got some Halloween branding, but this is like the only brand that does it. There's no others. It's just one thing. There's not like every brand does it. Caramello koala and I think Freddo are the only two that do it for Halloween. So sort of have it here, but we don't at the same time. Nero said, are these bags for trick or treating? I would say that's what you'd buy them for trick or treating. SP1 said, yes, they're called Whoppers, an 80s candy, but I don't like processed chocolates. Okay. Those are Whoppers in America. Okay. SP1 said, I'm a chocolate and coffee snob. You hate Halloween. But you buy it every year. Mountain Bee says, if you can find malted milk balls coated in real chocolate, well, the Maltesers do have good chocolate on it. They don't have compound chocolate. Oh, okay, all right. Gayla said our version is Freddo the Frog. Nero says that is a. Where's Kelly? Yeah, to give out to trick or treaters. Yeah. Shell Huffman says health bars are the bomb. I saw in America they did these same type of multi-bag things like this. They do them in the health bars too, like Kind Bar and all those other type of American health bar type things. They also do them with those type of bars too. Forget about health. Heath bar, not health bar. What is a Heath bar? What is a Heath bar? And why is it named after Heath Ledger? Oh, it looks like it would take your fillings out. Milk chocolate English toffee bar. Yeah, well, it looks like it would take your fillings out. I don't know. I've never seen this before, though. This before in my life, that one, but that is the one that Shell Huffman likes apparently. Chocolate covered toffee. Okay, interesting. Gail says, when I lived in Germany, I lived close to a Milka factory. I love Milka is so good. I love Milka, the one with the cow on it. Very, very good. Love Milka. And in England, I was near a Cadbury factory. Lucky. All right, let's go back to true crime. No more chocolate. It, it is close to Halloween, but no more chocolate. Okay. Let's go back to true crime. By the way, we missed. Oh, hey, there's breaking news about Gus. Oh, interesting. Breaking news in the search for Gus. Just moments ago. Yeah, literally 2 minutes ago. Police will resume their search for missing 4-year-old boy Gus at his family's Outback station tomorrow. Why? That's what I want to know. South Australian police said they would resume search activity for the missing boy tomorrow at the property. In a statement released today, police said there had been regular and close engagement with Gus's family, who were continuing to assist with the investigation. Interesting. The search, which will involve police and ADF personnel, will concentrate on an expanded area outside the zone already searched extensively following Gus's disappearance on Saturday, the 27th of September. That's interesting. That tells me that they may have some sort of new information. So, breaking news tomorrow, starting tomorrow, they are going back on the search for him. So, this will be interesting. Kelly J say, I watch a guy on YouTube from the UK and people send him American foods to try. It's fun. We're going to do something like that on the second channel. So, on the second channel, we're going to be doing something like that. So, you guys will be able to send in things from America and get me to try it. Chipmunk said recovery or search. It doesn't say. Hold on. Let me go to SA Police and check here. SA News. I don't see. They didn't put out a new. I didn't see an update. Okay. Okay. No update. Okay. No update on the SA Police news thing, but there you go. They're saying they will resume the search tomorrow. So we'll find out tomorrow about what exactly they're looking at. Now they're saying they're going to go outside the zone that they already searched. I find that strange that if they had a feeling he could be in this random area outside of the zone that they already searched, why would they go back? Why didn't they just do that last time? So recovery would make sense. Well, they believe he's not alive. They already said that. They believe he wouldn't have survived this long. So it would be a recovery, not a rescue operation. Yeah. The search, which will involve police and ADF personnel, will concentrate on an expanded area outside of the zone already searched extensively following Gus's disappearance. That's all it says. Yeah, let me see if I can find the full statement. Yeah, let me see if I can find the full thing so we can read it. Yeah, the past hour. Yeah, let's go to a different news company. Let's see. Okay, that's it. That's all they gave. Basically, that yeah, it'll start back up tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just seeing if we can find a better update out of it. Yeah, that's it. Major development. I don't know if it's a major development. It is a development of something. Yeah. South Australian police have confirmed they will resume the search for missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont in a new area. And the ADF, so the military, are going to come back in. And they say on Tuesday, October 14, police will resume searching at Oak Park Station, 43 kilometers south of Yunta, for missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont. The search, which will involve police and ADF personnel, will concentrate on an expanded area outside of the zone already searched extensively following his disappearance. There continues to be regular and close engagement with the Lamont family, who are continuing to assist with the investigation. Oak Park Station is private property. The family has asked that media refrain from contacting them and do not enter their property. Police said there will be no police spokesperson at the search site, and any update on the case will now be provided from police headquarters in Adelaide. So they are asking the media not to go out tomorrow like they had done previously, because they had gone out previously and police had given out press conferences at the site. So the family does not want media heading out there at all during this renewed search effort tomorrow. Woman of Steel said they missed the search. No, so the place they're going to search tomorrow is outside of their original targeted area. So the first time they searched, they drew up a search map and they stuck to that area. So like a 20-kilometer or whatever it was, 10K circular thing around the property. This time they're going outside of that search parameter. So they're going to go somewhere they have not searched before. So there you go. Rachel said, I think he must have been missing longer than they said. Could be further out, maybe. So basically widening the search area. Yep. Chipmunk said, that is pretty far away to the next property, correct? Yeah, it's pretty far away. So there you go. We'll find out more tomorrow. They're definitely going to give an update tomorrow afternoon on if they find anything. So we will see. We will see. Interesting. Right when we're on air too. Breaking news out of South Australia for you. New search effort for Gus Lamont tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. If you're keeping an eye on this particular search effort and the trying to find Gus, then you will want to keep an eye on the news tomorrow. Gail said maybe they decided to look further when the tracker said they weren't there. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Very interesting. Very interesting, if you ask me. Okay, I think we're just about done for the night. Let me check one thing. All right, we're going to wrap up. I will come back tomorrow afternoon and give you an update on what is going on with the search efforts that are renewing tomorrow. So I will come back and tell you what is going on and let you know, is there an update? Did they find anything? How is the search going? I'll let you know. Yeah, maybe they'll bring back the tracker too. Hey, Neuro, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, for all the people who are new to this channel, please hit that thumbs up. It doesn't cost anything. And it would also be nice if you could hit that subscribe button for Ping. Don't do what Lynn did. Don't hit the button and unsubscribe. Please hit the button and subscribe. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night. Hey, if you want to support this channel, that would be a good way of doing it. If you want to really, really support the channel, there is some links underneath the video which help out Ping, and I would appreciate it. By the way, our members are getting a bonus show tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening, our members of this channel that support the channel with a membership are getting a bonus show tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that if you're a member of the channel. So you're getting a extra special extra show tomorrow if you are a member. All right, I love you all. I'll see you soon. Hopefully we'll have this background sorted out soon. I can't keep living in this mansion. It's far too pretty. You know, I've been trapped here for 2 weeks in this mansion. I don't know how to get out. It doesn't have a front door. I will see you then. All right. Love you all. Good night. Bye.